I can understand and probably figure out some of your David influence and love for him and his music. Did you have any contact with him over the years?
I did have contact with him over the years. Of course, I was a huge fan coming out of the Runaways.
Mm-hmm.
We all were. Actually, Diamond Dogs is one of the albums that got me through my last year of high school before quitting to, join the Runaways.
Right.
And I believe, but I can't remember where that would be, that he showed up for a Runaway show someplace. But Cherie might know that answer because she's a big Bowie fan too. But once the Blackhearts started, we were playing with Queen over in England, a couple of dates, in one in Leeds and one in Milton Keynes, which is outside of London. Big stadium shows. And so David came to that show, I guess Milton Keynes, and I remember looking to the side of the stage and seeing David and Freddie Mercury watching the show.
Wow.
And if that doesn't put pressure on you, or just both thrilling excitement that they're watching, but also going, oh my God, I can't screw up. And another time, David was really gracious. We were doing 5 shows on Broadway in 1989, and he came down, I believe, on the first night and took pictures with me and hung out for the show, and we spoke about whatever was happening at the time, and he was just always very gracious to me and friendly and not weird at all.
I know. One of the things that I always found very surprising, because I got to talk to him a few times. As a matter of fact, I did a radio special once where he was my guest on it, and the entire bit was the two of us making like we were fishing while we were doing an interview. And he rolled right along with it. He was just...
That's awesome.
He was such a regular kind of guy. If you got him at the right time, I guess like with any of us, right? You grab somebody at the wrong time, they could be an ass. But he was so easygoing every time I spoke to him.
Yeah, I don't hear a lot of those stories about David being, thinking who the hell he was, even though he was who he was. So to me, that's what you go by is people who come in contact with, whether they're famous people or just fans, and the way he treats people like that and makes them feel heard and not sort of pulling the rock star thing on people.
Right.
He didn't have to. He just exuded it.
Was there any one particular song? If I had to pin you down and say, okay, Joan, what is your favorite David Bowie song? What would you go with?
Isn't it so hard?
Yeah.
Because there's so many beautiful, touching songs. I mean, the whole Ziggy Stardust album kills me, everything on it. But I think, if you boil it down to just classic teenage singles, I would have to go with Rebel Rebel.
Okay.
Just because of what it did at that time, how I was right in that 16-year-old head. So
right.
It was perfect. The riff, the melody, what it was saying. So on that level, but I think I wouldn't pick that as my favorite if I had a chance to think about it. It would be something deeper and emotional. Not that Rebel Rebel wasn't, but it would most likely be off that Ziggy album.
It is amazing when you think about him and you think about his music and how varied it is, where you get something like, Rebel Rebel or Young Americans and Fame and that kind of music. And then you get songs like Wild as the Wind or 5 Years. Right,
Yes.
And it was like, wow, this is like so completely different than everything else.
And that Diamond Dogs album is such another world that he created. When you listen to those lyrics, I mean, I remember them getting me through high school. I just it was a very dark world, but it was somehow he was surviving it. So. A lot of the lyrics on that record were really incredible to me. In fact, I can almost remember the beginning of the Diamond Dogs album. And in the death, as the last few corpses lay rotting on the slimy thoroughfare, the shutters lifted an inch in Temperance Building, high on Poacher's Hill, and red mutant eyes gazed down on Hunger City. No more big wheels. Fleas the size of rats sucked on rats the size of cats, and 10,000 peopleoids split into small tribes, coveting the highest of the sterile skyscrapers like packs of dogs. And now I'm lost.
Oh, wow.
That's impressive.
We're seriously
really
impressed.
That was strong.
That's the beginning of Diamond Dogs album. Very first thing he says.